this video, we're going to be looking at a new edition of the Legacy Standard Bible, or new as I'm recording this. It is a compact edition that they've just come out with, and the one we're looking at here is a goatskin cover. So this would be on the higher end of the spectrum, higher quality end. They do also have faux leather covers and cowhide, I believe. This is a goatskin edge-lined, so it is going to cost more. It retails for $125, and it has some really good features about it that I'll show you in this video, but also some things that, at least to my preferences, I would change that I think could be improved, especially with this particular color scheme. So there are a lot of options for this. There's a lot of different covers, colors that you can choose from. But this is the one that was sent to me, and I think they just did a random drawing for Bible reviewers as to which copy they would send them. So this is the one that was randomly chosen for me, and I really appreciate 316 Publishing for sending this. But I'm going to give an honest review and share things I like as well as things that I think could be improved. One thing I will say, this is the goatskin edition. And that being more the premium option, I feel like the packaging could have been done maybe with a two-piece box. I think that would have been nice. I know they're trying to save some money. I understand that. They want to put the money into the quality of the product itself. But I think for maybe a little bit more money with a premium edition, you could have a premium box to go with it. That being said, this slip case that it comes in does have a wrapping with it that the Bible is packaged in, which does add a little bit more of a premium feel to it. So it's not bad, but that's something that I think could be improved, is to have a nice box to go with the goatskin editions. Now, looking at the cover itself, it's a beautiful color. I really like the design of this on the outside. I think that navy blue looks beautiful. Goatskin, many times when you see goatskin covers, they just have a really nice look and feel to them, and this one is no exception. It is perimeter stitched. It also has very nice stamping, gold stamping on the spine of the Bible, and that's the design that you've come to see on the Legacy Standard Bibles. It's just a really nice, simple, straightforward, very well done look to it. And the cover doesn't have anything on the front, so just real classic in my opinion. Gold gilt page edges. It is going to have, in the goatskin edition, the blue under gold. Now that's one thing that's just my preference, but I think silver looks better under gold. I think those cool tones, to me, go together better. Another thing that you'll see here, and I do like the fact that it has two ribbons that are angle cut, and I think they are double-sided, so that's good. There's a blue one and a gold one. I will say I think the blue, as you can see, is a brighter blue, whereas I would say, in my opinion, a navy blue ribbon would go better with this color scheme. The gold one is fine though, I think. But it's nice to have the two ribbons, and they're pretty good quality, nice and long, as you can see here too. But that color scheme, I would adjust that as well. And then one other thing about the design, that this is not true with all of these Bibles, the compact editions, but this particular navy one has this liner that to me just looks very busy. And I have a feeling there are some people who will really like this. But I think, having the LSB over and over there kind of reminds me of old wallpaper. And I hate to be disparaging about it, because I'm sure some people will really like this. But to my eye, it's just too busy. I like something that looks a little bit more classic and more minimalistic, I guess you could say, which would go along with the overall look of this Bible. But that being said, it's very nicely made, and it is edge-line construction. So aside from it not being my taste, it's still a very nicely made Bible. And if you get other colors, they're going to have a different liner inside anyway. But those are just some things that weren't to my preferences. Now when you get in here, that edge line construction is going going to have this partially glued front two cardstock pages. So just so everyone knows, when you see that, that's not a mistake. They're glued together on purpose with the cover tabbed inside here. So that's partially glued there, and then you have another cardstock page here. And again, just some really interesting things that are kind of unusual. The contents page is actually put here on the cardstock paper on the left side. I don't think I've ever seen that before. And then you have a title page that also serves as the copyright page. Now those to me are not that big of a deal, just a little unusual. The copyright information here, you see all the different ISBN numbers for the different covers for this Bible. And it is printed and bound in Korea, it says here. So Korea printings, from what we've seen from 316 Publishing, are actually very nice. And you do have an explanation here of the general format for this edition. And then the Old Testament title page with that ornate design. And getting into the Bible text, it's an 8.5 font. And I will say, for a small Bible, we'll compare this to some other Bibles so you can see just about how big this is. It's a pretty small Bible. It's compact. That's what they call it. It has an 8.5 font size. That's really nice. And I will say, I think it's very pleasant to read. If you don't have problems with your eyes, I think you're going to find this to be pretty comfortable, especially for the size of the Bible itself. And another interesting feature, you do see it's double column with that line down the middle. But it's interesting that the verse numbers are bold at the beginning of the paragraph, and they're full-sized verse numbers. But inside the paragraph, they're superscript and not bold. So the verse numbers are different depending on where they are in the paragraph. I think that's a nice feature overall for readability. It doesn't distract you with large verse numbers. It doesn't look weird to have large verse numbers all over the place. But if you're going to have large verse numbers at the beginning of the paragraph, in a paragraph format makes sense. So I thought that was interesting. And getting through this here, we'll get to some poetry so you can see the ghosting. The paper actually really is pretty nice. It's 28 GSM paper, I believe. And it's line matched, it looks like to me. When we get into the poetry, I think that becomes even more evident and important to have that line matching where the front, what you see on the front of the page lines up with what is on the reverse side of the page. And you see here, the ghosting really is not that distracting. There is some show through, but it's not bad at all. Not bad at all. And it really has a great look to it. This is really something that you can have the whole Bible with you, take it anywhere you want to go, and look at this. You can just hold it so easily because it's compact size. So it's really amazing to have a Bible with this larger print, the entire scripture in this size of a footprint. That's really good. Form factor. So getting through the rest of the Old Testament, you'll see here you have the New Testament title page with the similar design as the Old Testament title page. And then the New Testament is going to have black letter text for the words of Christ. And the LSB, if you're not familiar with this translation, it's an update of the NASB done by faculty from Master's Seminary. And so it really has a lot of the printing features that you see in the NASB. Italicized words that are supplied words in English. So right here I see an italicized word. You'll also see that pronouns for deity are capitalized. Here is deity. That's not a pronoun, but still it's referring to deity. You see Father there is capitalized. And Old Testament quotes in the New Testament are in these small caps. So just to help the Old Testament quotes to stand out. There's not a lot of footnotes in here, just some, I think, measurement type footnotes. Not really translator footnotes, but this really is just to be something that is as portable as possible so that you have all of the biblical text. One other thing I will point out, again, just for improvements for the publisher that could be made. I did see a little bit of bleeding on the edge here with that blue art gilt. It's not bad, and I don't think it should keep anybody from purchasing these. But as far as just production quality and making it as perfect as possible, that's something to be noted. A little bit of bleeding on the edges there, but not bad. It's really not bad, and it's still beautiful looking with that gold and the blue undergold. Again, the liner to me stands out a little more than I would prefer. And then getting through the rest of the biblical text here, you will notice that not all of the books of the Bible start on a new page, but they do have good space between the books here. So I don't mind that, the way that that's formatted. After the book of Revelation, you have in the back here monetary units, weights, and measurements. And then you have an alphabetical list of the books of the Bible. So again, that's a little unusual to have the contents, the typical contents at the front of the Bible and then this alphabetical list at the back. Just interesting that they separated those. I'm sure it just had to do with the way the printing worked out, how to best save on space and make use of each page, I guess. Anyway, the back here also has one page of cardstock and then the pasted cardstock end sheet right there, edge line in the back as well, of course. And that is a look at the whole Bible. Now, it is pretty small. Just so you see the measurement here, it's actually less than 7 inches tall, and that's with the goatskin cover, which actually has some yap. I believe if you get like the faux leather cover, it's going to have less yap than this. It's going to even seem smaller than this. But with this goatskin cover, it's just a little under 7 inches and maybe a little less than 4 3/4 inches and maybe 1 1.25 inches at the most on the width or the thickness. So it's not very large. If you compare it to a personal size Bible like the CSB personal size, you can see here kind of how these terms can be confusing, because this one says compact, this says personal size, and with this goatskin cover they actually look similar in size. However, if you compare the text block, you can see the compact is definitely smaller. So it is smaller than the typical personal size Bible, but not a whole lot smaller. And again, looking at the font size, this one actually, I'm not even sure what size that is. It says 7.5. So it's actually a little larger, this one here, than what we've been looking at, and yet the font size is bigger in the LSB. So to me, that just shows you how impressive this really is, the way that this is formatted. So that's 1 point size larger, 7.5 versus 8.5 here. Now that's nice bold font, so it's still pretty readable. This Bible here has been compared a lot to the Pitt Minion from Cambridge. And so I'm going to show you a Pitt Minion Bible. The one we're looking at here is an NIV Pitt Minion. And here it is. And so if you compare these two Bibles, you'll see, again, they're kind of similar when you look at them from the outside, but the compact is definitely smaller, especially in terms of height. But even in terms of width, it is a little bit smaller. Actually pretty considerably smaller than the Pitt Minion. Thickness, though, however, they would be pretty much the same. Maybe the Pitt Minion would actually even be a little bit thinner. However, the Pitt Minion, I think the font on this is under a 7 point. It's like a 6.75. Noticeably small font. So the biblical text is definitely easier to read in the LSB, but the LSB has no cross references, whereas the Pitt Minion does. So that shows you how these two compare. I would say ghosting wise, They're actually pretty similar. But this one, as far as the Bible text goes, a lot easier to read than the Pitt Minion. But if you want something with references, you would need a different copy of the Bible, a different edition. But if you're okay with a Bible that you want to just take with you and you don't care if it has references, it's just something really to read or to have at church to follow along with the sermon or read at church, this is a really good option because compact Bibles, their great feature is that they are portable. And this one, not only portable, easy to hold, it has the entire scripture, the 66 books of the Bible in it, in an 8.5 font. If you have any questions or comments about this Bible, I'd love to see that in the comment section below. But thank you so much for taking a look at this with me from a fresh perspective.